What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be doing another install on my F30. Today I have the Injen Cold Air Intake that we're going to be throwing into the car. Show you guys this box right here. It came in this really cool red box, and then over here we kind of have all the pieces that are going to be making up this intake. So I kind of wanted to get the polished aluminum version of this, but it was pretty much sold out everywhere I was looking, and I didn't really want to wait, so went ahead and got the wrinkle black. I think it still looks really dope in my opinion. So yeah, excited to get this on the car. So I went with this Injen intake because my car actually has the N26 motor. It's just because it was a SULEV model. It's a super ultra low emissions vehicle, so I needed an intake that has that extra vacuum line. I don't know what that's for, but I just saw a couple people having problems with that. When they put one in that didn't have that, it would throw code or something, so just want everything to stay smooth. So pick this one. From what I've read, it's also one of the louder intakes, so kind of excited about that. Speaking of loud, let me go ahead and start up the car, pull it into the garage a little bit, and we'll get started here. So I haven't really done a video on this yet, but I did recently finally get the muffler delete on the car. So see the new big tips there. They're a little oversized, but honestly I kind of like it. Definitely shows that there's something custom going on here. So I'll do a video showing you that a little bit later and kind of going over that process, but for now let's just get this thing moved. So I'm sure the neighbors hate how loud this car is on a cold start, but so it's definitely louder on just startup like that, but it does quiet down. The resonator is still on there, so actually when driving it, it's super comfortable. It's not that loud, but cold start, very loud. Alright, so here is the engine bay with the stock intake in there. From what I read from the factory, this is actually already pretty much a cold air intake. It's enclosed. It's got a little scoop that kind of scoops in from the grill down there and puts it right into the filter, but it's really quiet, and I wouldn't mind louder. Alright, so this kit came with the little paper instructions here. So basically what we have to do first is remove that mass airflow sensor there, and because this is the N26, we're going to remove this vacuum line here as well, and then we should be able to just kind of pull this thing out. It's kind of held on by these little rubber stops, so when you pull that, it kind of just comes off of there. A couple of those all the way around, and then I'm guessing just that clamp there that's holding on from that original pipe. So I'm going to set this up on a tripod and we'll get started with that. Alright, so now that the airbox is out, this turbo duct, it's called, is left. It's a big plastic piece like that. This is coming out too, so I'm just going to undo this little clamp right here, and this will come out. Alright, so when my turbo air duct came out, you can see in here, it's actually kind of dirty. I don't know what all that's about. You don't really want that dirty, I'm guessing, because that's where air goes right into the turbo there. So I'm gonna just wipe this out with a microfiber, and then we'll keep going with the install. But let me know in the comments if you guys are doing this, if yours is dirty, because I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Alright, so now that that's all out of there, we're gonna take our first piece of pipe. This is the piece that doesn't have the badge on it, it's just a pipe. This is gonna go in right where that turbo inlet came out and kind of sit like this. And then this clamp that came with it, it's got 2 clamps and a little bit of silicone right here. This is going to go on here as well. Only going to tighten on obviously the one part of the clamp that's on here. So that's going to go onto this pipe as well, leaving everything loose right now, just because you're going to want to finally tighten everything later. So that bit of pipe is in there. I'm going to get our clamp on here. I'm just going to get this set up. Try to be a little aesthetic with this, so I want all my clamps facing where it's easy to tighten and loosen them. And we'll get this onto this bit of pipe. Cool. Get everything's loose right now. Just getting it in place. All right, so the next thing that's gonna happen is we're gonna take the new air box, and this hole is where that pipe's gonna come through. So it came with this little rubber grommet here, and this is gonna get put in here nice and tight so that that pipe doesn't vibrate around on the metal in there. All right, and you could probably see that there, it was a little bit long, so I had to trim it a little bit, but nice and flush in there now. All right, and now what I've done is taken this supplied vibra mount, they call it, screwed it in right there. There's a little spot for it to screw in, so, and then put this little grommet in here, also supplied. And then I took the original right side mount for the airbox, and that went into that hole there. So now this box is pretty much prepped to go into the car. All right, so last thing before the box goes in, there was another little vibra mount looking thing supplied. This one had kind of a long little stem on it, and basically you just stick that through this rubber grommet that was holding the box in on the left side here. So that's in there, moves around a little bit, but that's gonna hold that box in place, I'm sure, when it's time. I'm gonna go ahead and take that nut off the top of there as well, so that when the box goes in, that is what I will tighten it down with. All right, so first little hiccup. I don't know if this is just because, again, N26, but right here where this is supposed to line up, you'll see when I get this in place, these holes are gonna line up. There were actually these cable clips in there that were holding this line down, whatever this line is. So what I did was go ahead and just yank on those with some pliers, and luckily the clips didn't break. It kind of mounts right there onto the radiator shroud thing. The kit comes with some little push clips you're supposed to put in there, but again, they don't have the mount for the cable holders, so I just went and yanked those out, and luckily I'm going to be able to reuse them. If I couldn't, I don't think it would be a big deal. I could just zip tie this line in somewhere, but yeah, that's just something to be aware of if you're installing this on N26, or this might just be this year, 2016 and newer, or something like that. But I'm going to continue on with the install, minor little hiccup. All right, so made some progress here. You'd probably see in the video I had to take the box out a couple times. The first time I had forgotten to tighten down the clamp that goes into the little turbo inlet there from the new pipe. The second time was that clamp that was on the top of that pipe. It was really hard to reach the clamp, so I had to kind of move those to where I could get at them from the back here, because once this is in, it kind of covers everything. So a little finicky. The vacuum line did come through there. It's a little tight, but there's enough to get it on to that little port there. And then tighten the vibro mount down. Everything's looking pretty good. The last thing we have to do is just come back over to the factory airbox and take out the MAF sensor. So that was held in by two torque screws, and they are T20 to remove those. So I'm going to throw that onto the engine pipe, put the filter on, and take it for a drive and see if we can hear any sound difference. All right, so that is the new cold air intake installed. Looks pretty dope. I like the blue, I like the attention to detail kind of matching the logo. The wiring for the MAF sensor was a little tight. I was able to get a little bit of slack out of it and kind of get it to where I'm somewhat comfortable with it, but you know, it is what it is. Vacuum line on there, nice. So basically the last thing to do is just put on the heat shield cover that came with it. It's this big piece right here. So that's going to go on there. It's got a nice badge on there. This little grommet, the last one that was sitting here, that's going to go on that new cover, and that'll go on, and then it came with some bolts to bolt it down. So I'm going to throw that on. We'll hop in the car and I'll take it around the block and just see if we can hear any cool induction noises. All right, so everything's installed. I'm going to go around, give the car a crank. Again, I don't really know what to expect sound-wise. Probably mostly still just exhaust. I love that. Stop and close the hood to avoid a possible accident. Close up in here. Good. Let's just back it out and take a couple neighborhood laps. Buckle up here. Safety first. Apologize for my lens being so tight. Oh, that is loud. There's a definitive intake and kind of blow off sound now. Wow, I was not expecting that. That's dope. Huh. That's so sick. I don't know if you guys are hearing that, but it's like a pew, pew. Reminds me of my Honda that I had actually put a blow-off valve on to get that pew sound. That's so sick. Oh man. And it's only going to be louder on the outside. That's really cool. I'm going to take this down here. That's really cool. I'm not sure if you can hear it or not, but the exhaust now has a very definitive burble. I did go back and retune that in boot mode. Again, I'll make a video on all of that. I'll show you guys my settings. I'll show you the exact weld and setup that the exhaust guy did for me. but getting a little attention from some of these high schoolers out here. I'll go park at this little tennis court complex over here. Just give it a few revs and let you hear it. It's awesome though. It's definitely loud. It's a very loud intake, which is what I wanted, so that's really cool. Just gonna throw it in park over here. All right, so this is in park in sport. With the straight pipe or muffler delete, there is no more valve on the exhaust, so the difference between comfort and sport is really just when the gears change. There's no difference in volume anymore, but again, it's not loud driving. I'm sure you heard it on the way over here. Only when you let it off does you hear the burbles and all, but that is it now. There's a loud boy. I love it. Definitely enjoy the sound this car makes now, and I really like the sound of that intake. I was not expecting it to be that loud or to be like a blow-off valve like that, which is nice because doing research, I didn't really see anything about blow-off valves for this car or a recirc valve. I saw a couple recirc valve rebuild kits. I may do the what's called a diverter valve upgrade from Go Fast Bits, because what I've read is that the plastic hardware that comes on the car can kind of break under the pressure of the high boost that tuned cars run. This car is definitely tuned now, running boot mode stage 2, so I want to go ahead and fix that before it breaks or before it fails on me. So we'll do that. I'm gonna head back to the garage now and I'll give you guys some final thoughts on this intake system. Alright, so I was editing that video and I realized I never filmed that final bit where I come back to the garage and tell you how I thought about it. The cold air intake was dope. It worked really well. I really like the sounds. That was probably the biggest gain from it, and that's what I wanted it for, was the really cool induction sounds that you get out of a turbo. It kind of really lets you hear those in the car. So all in all, I definitely think it was worth it. I think that intake system ran about like 300, 350 or something like that. Really great system. Injen's a great company, and it was made specifically for that car, and everything fit, as you saw in the video, with no issues. So definitely recommend that to anybody looking for a cold air intake for your F30. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it and enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more car content. I also make banners and stickers on Etsy if you'd like to support the channel, so I'll leave that linked in the description down below. Thank you again for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.